Georgio celebrity check. Tune in now, folks, we need to talk about this. Tune in now, folks, we need to talk about this. Tune in now, folks, we need to talk about this. Georgio says it's time for Georgio celebrity check. Tune in now, folks, we need to talk about this. Georgio says it's time for Georgio celebrity check.
All right, everyone. Welcome to an all-new Georgio Says live show here on YouTube. I hope everyone's doing well this week. I know there's a lot going on, but we're not going to talk about that. This is your escape, okay? We have a lot to cover. There was Beverly Hills. I'm also going to dive into the RHONY Part 1 recap because Jenna Lyons got activated. It was really strange watching her get activated because I don't expect that from her, and she doesn't really give that during the season. And as you guys know, I dropped off almost midway through the RHONY season just because I was kind of over the self-producing, and then obviously you guys wanted me to see the finale, so I caught up very quickly and then obviously watched the finale. So watch the reunion. Gonna recap Beverly Hills for you. Obviously gonna give you a recap of the RHONY reunion. And then we got news today that finally, it feels like it's been 5 years. We're getting the Real Housewives of Atlanta trailer tomorrow. We got a promo today. And by the looks of it, it looks like Kenya is in the promo. Okay? It's really now it's not shocking, obviously, because we know that she filmed for the first leg, I would say, of the season before she was told she can't film anymore. But I wasn't expecting to see her in a promo, so it'll be interesting to see how the trailer goes. I have a feeling it's going to be good. It better be, because it's been a long time and there's a lot riding on all of this. But I have a good feeling about it. Really quick, before we jump in, thank you to Jeff for being our channel's moderator. Yes, please hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Really appreciate all the new subscribers. Hello. And I am live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make 4 p.m., don't worry. The replay is available on my YouTube channel after the fact, or you can listen to the audio version on the Georgio Says podcast. You can stream that anywhere you get your podcast. Okay, let's, where do we start? I don't know. I think obviously, I do want to give you a little bit of an update on the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively situation that is going to seemingly be updated on a daily basis at this point. There's so much going on, but I do love all of the internet CIA detectives. I feel right at home. There was a few things involving metadata that is making all of this look even worse for Blake and her team and the New York Times. So I'm do that after I recap Housewives stuff because I don't want to rush through that piece because it's quite interesting. And I listened to a couple of lawyers here on YouTube, Dave Neal and Popcorn Planet. Shout out to them. They are killing it with going through the commentary and giving us the tea and the lowdown on all of it. So I'm going to update you guys on that. But let's jump into the show because I want to get into the Beverly Hills recap. It was Beachy Keen was the title.
We need to talk about this. Every rumor, every twist on the Georgio Says podcast. We need to talk about so hit that play, stay in the know. Georgio's here to steal the show on the Georgio Says podcast. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about this.
All right. So yeah, we are gonna dive in to some Housewives recaps today. Listen, to be honest with you, between Beverly Hills and RHONY, I would say there were solid episodes, but there wasn't a lot of anything that happened really that was monumental. And quite frankly, I feel like Beverly Hills is really just centered more around this Dorit divorce, separation with PK. We got the mid-season trailer on Monday, and from the looks of it, we're continuing down the path of, unraveling this situation between Kyle and PK. But I think also what was clear to me last night in the episode was she's clocked in and she knows Kyle is full of it. Okay. She's full of it. And I thought the same thing last night when I was watching it because, honestly, Kyle's been on the show from the beginning. So she knows exactly what she's doing. Now, jumping over to RHONY, I have to say, you guys, I don't, it really does feel like this is just a production, like a remake of Housewives. It's so stunning. Like they all killed it. They looked amazing. Okay. Each and every one of them, I have to say, killed their reunion look. And specifically Jenna Lyons, she keeps elevating everything. She came out in this Balenciaga robe and the little towel turban and her, it was just very Jenna Lyons, very chic. I love it. I feel like there's so much here, but possibly this reunion will set them into a better direction for next season. At least that's the hope. So, what else is going on? I wanted to update you guys on something and I can't remember. So if I do remember, I'll tell you at some point during the show. So let's get into the Housewives recaps.
It's time for Georgio's Real Housewives episode recap. We need to talk about this. Let's get into this episode recap.
All right. So let's start with Beverly Hills because Sutton is she's showing herself this season. I mean, listen, she always gets in the middle of the drama, right? But this season in particular, she feels like she's just, I don't know, she just is she's got wrong timing. She's coming off like one of those classic Southern moms that's being really hard on her daughters. And I'm not saying that because I think she's that much older than the rest of the women. It's just more of her personality. And that kind of came through this season. But what's really clear is Kyle is being very calculated because this episode, all the ladies are supposed to head over to Garcelle's new beach home because they all haven't seen it. I believe it's only been Sutton that has seen the house thus far. I believe it's only been Sutton because I think Sutton helped her move some stuff. But so yes, she's having all the ladies to the beach house. They're going to have this beautiful lunch on the beach and it's supposed to be a good time. And Garcelle's hoping for no drama, but of course, this is Real Housewives. But before they even head to this trip, okay, Kyle, the night before wants to have a dinner with Garcelle, Sutton, and Erica, okay? Because it's already smelling like trying to do some damage control. Like, I need to get some people on my side. I need to get some people to soften on what this looks like. These messages to PK, they're just jokes and memes. But we know when she reads the one message, there's clearly more to this because she's telling him, hey, you can trust me. Whatever you tell me, I have not told anyone. I never would. I mean, that's kind of loaded. And Kyle and Dorit are not really in a good place. They're trying to get there. So, and after last week's storm off and her pausing to film, I guess this was her way back in. So she needed to kind of get some allies before they head over to Garcelle's home on the beach because who knows what would happen. And the last thing she wants is to be trapped at a beach house and have no allies. Specifically because she stormed out and told everyone they should be ashamed of themselves the last time she saw them for acting this way. Age shaming. We clocked it, Kyle. You know who else clocked it? Sutton, because she really wanted Kyle, okay? Because Kyle tries to give a blanket apology. She's like, I just want to apologize to you guys for how I stormed out and my reaction and things that I said. And Sutton's like, So what in particular are you apologizing for? And then she starts to like dig into Kyle, and Kyle's just kind of like, whatever it is that I did, I apologize for, just very general. She's not going to give that much context or detail to what she actually did or what she's actually apologizing for. But it was funny because even before Sutton and Erica showed up, Garcelle was like trying to get it out of Kyle a little bit. And she was like, look, it's okay that, if you guys, like her and PK, were talking smack about Dorit, because Garcelle's point is like, it would make sense. That's realistic. That could happen because, you and Dorit were fighting, and, you and PK are still clearly talking. So it's not unlikely that you would share, information. Plus, last week we found out that Dorit called Kyle out when Kyle was trying to act like she didn't understand what was going on in her marriage. And Dorit's like, oh, you kind of do, because you guys talk about it, because PK comes home and tells me that you guys have talked about it. So it's really strange that Kyle's all of a sudden trying to pretend like she has no clue what's going on in Dorit's marriage, when I think it's pretty clear. So that was funny. But, so the ladies then head to Garcelle's beach house, which, by the way, say what you want about the area in which Garcelle purchased this beach house. I would like to see anybody show me their beach house in Los Angeles. So if you can show me yours and prove that it's better, because I guarantee it's not, then you can say something. Let's stop shitting on Garcelle. Am I too early to start cussing? You're going to flag me. Yes, let's stop crapping on Garcelle. That's a huge thing for anyone to do on the beach or not, is to buy a piece of property by themselves, okay? But yeah, so the ladies head to Garcelle's beach house, and you gotta love Jennifer Tilly, because Jennifer Tilly, she has so much money because her ex-husband was the creator of The Simpsons. And I feel like her only role on the show is just to show us just how wealthy she is, and just these intricate things from all these different designers that you didn't think they ever made. Like tonight, last night's episode, she got Garcelle a housewarming gift, which I noticed none of the other ladies brought her anything, which I thought was rude. They should have brought something, a candle, a bottle of something. I don't know. So Jennifer Tilly, I guess her gift was supposed to make up for everyone else's gift, because she got her this. I didn't even know that Dolce & Gabbana made toasters. It was actually a really cute toaster. It was blue and white, that print. I don't know what the name of it is. But anyways, it's a $700 toaster. I would imagine it's a pretty good one. So yeah, that's a pretty sick housewarming gift. 'Cause I'll be honest, if someone brought me a Dolce & Gabbana toaster, even though it, that particular one wouldn't go in, it wouldn't match my kitchen, it still would be out when company came over, because I would want people like, what is this? I'm like, it's a Dolce & Gabbana toaster, bitch. Anyways, so before they get to the beach, I wanted to reference, there was a moment when the ladies met up at Kyle's house, because they're all driving together. So Bose, Dorit, Erica, Sutton, Kyle, all of them. And so when Dorit gets to Kyle's, she explains to the ladies, like, this morning I went on a walk with Jagger, and he asked me, if me and PK are getting a divorce. And obviously she's trying to share an update about herself. And I don't know what it is with Sutton and Dorit, but Sutton just stops in the middle, like completely cuts her off, and is like, okay, we've actually got to go. We've got to go. But we actually got to get going. Right. And so it's like, this is not the time to be this rude, Sutton. My God. So I don't know what her hang up is on it. It feels like Sutton is the person that goes after people when they're going through something. Like, that's her thing. So it seems like she just keeps doing that. So whoever's going to be going through something, it feels like she's going to be harder on them. We saw that with Kyle last year as well. So But anyhow, the ladies are at Garcelle's house. Not too much going on. Sutton puts on her loungewear that Garcelle got all the ladies, and for whatever reason, she had her shorts hiked all the way up to her breasts, and it was like, pull your shorts down. Why is it hiked up so high? I will say those types of shorts, when you pull them up high, they are very comfortable. I don't know why. Anyways, so the ladies have their lunch on the beach, but Dorit and Kyle decide they're going to go have a conversation because I don't think that they're still not in a place of being able to move forward. And so when they start talking, I will say this conversation is a lot better, at least from Kyle's angle, because she's at least not diminishing what Dorit's feelings are. And really, it's Dorit's just trying to look for, are you my friend? Are you loyal to me? Is this worth salvaging? Do you want to be my friend? Because I think these are the things that are confusing Dorit right now with her and Kyle's friendship. Because last season, Kyle made it seem like they weren't really that close. But, this episode, Dorit's like, so did you view us as close friends at all? Like ever? And she's like, well, yeah, I did. But it's like, it's never clear. Why were you saying these things that way to make it almost seem like they're not friends at all? But now, coincidentally, you've been friends with PK for 7 years. So were you just friends with PK and not Dorit? It's not adding up. So much so that earlier in the episode, when Dorit met up with Bose clocked it and was like, no, you're lying, Kyle. You are lying, and you keep making yourself look worse each and every way forward because you're not helping yourself, right? So, yeah. But the conversation between Kyle and Dorit was kind of interesting. But for the most part, it seemed like they were ready to kind of, move on, not let everything kind of hang on the way it's been because, it's getting old, the back and forth. It's like clearly, it is what it is. They've clearly decided they do want to work on this friendship together, and they're going to just have to do their best going forward. So at least for now, I think Kyle and Dorit will be okay until the reunion. But there's still so much coming our way with the mid-season trailer dropping on Monday. But, all in all, I wasn't sure what to expect this season. But I have to say it's immensely better than last season. It's immensely better. So, but yeah, that was pretty much Beverly Hills in a nutshell. Not too much, like I said. There's, I think, more drama coming with Kyle and Mauricio. We saw a clip of her, like, she's obviously hurt because he's happily moved on and dating people. And Kyle's still trying to figure out if she's a lesbian. Speaking of lesbians, let's hop over to RHONY. The ladies that love to queer bait everyone, specifically Brynn. Oh, Brynn. I don't know how Brynn's even showing up to this reunion. First of all, she watched the finale episode as she was getting ready for the reunion, which that had to have been a lot because it was a lot for me to watch and I wasn't even a part of the show and I'm not going to the reunion. But if I was Brynn and watching that back and then have to go out onto that stage, it wouldn't be good. But I can't imagine she didn't already understand that there was going to be a lot of tension filming that day, because specifically with her and Uba's situation, which is so horrific that she would even weaponize that situation and then try to bring Uba down. I don't know how that's going to get handled. And quite honestly, I'm not sure. I don't want to say they're going to let go of Brynn, but we also saw that Shed Media has put out casting notices for RHONY, which is not unlikely. Okay, they're always kind of putting the feelers out anyway, but it's just interesting because clearly they've been seeing the feedback from this season alone, and we weren't happy. I also have been seeing a lot of people trying to blame Eric Fuller. If you know, you know. Apparently, he's attached to it. A lot of franchises that seemingly go down the pipes, according to others. This is not my view. Eric has been nothing but nice to me, and yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But I do notice that every time he pops up in anything on any of these shows, the comments go wild about him. Somehow they feel that he's the real issue in a lot of these situations. But nonetheless, this reunion, like I said earlier in this episode, it's beautiful. The lighting was beautiful. So much so when you look at like a RHONY reunion versus the Salt Lake reunion, the lighting on the Salt Lake reunion is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Why are they lighting them like that? They look awful. And they don't look like that in real. Like if they had the lighting that RHONY had, they would all look stunning. I don't know what's going on. They finally got the set right on Salt Lake City, and the lighting is crap. Nonetheless, uh, they start the reunion and they just jump right in. They ask Jenna, why doesn't your partner want to be on the show? And essentially, Jenna is worried because I think her partner is someone who says a lot of things that are on her mind. She's very probably opinionated and probably says things and isn't thinking of maybe the public perception. And so what I really think the issue is Jenna doesn't want her partner to get canceled. So whatever that means, clearly she's got a lot to say and Jenna doesn't want to do that, which I can understand that if you know that your partner says things, there's cameras around, they're mic'd all the time, they say something crazy, it might more than likely end up getting used in the episode, and then everyone will cancel this person that you're with, and that would make things a lot harder. So she's keeping it safe, but I do feel that Jenna is slowly creeping over to the housewife side because by the end of this reunion, she was locked in. She's had it. Okay. But before that, we catch up with the ladies and we see that Uba and Bryn are seeing each other for the first time since they did the titles shoot that we saw at the end of the finale episode. So no shocker there. It's clear. Like if I was Uba, I wouldn't be talking to Bryn either. I wouldn't trust her to say anything because she does twist. And this reunion, they really call her out, specifically Sai and Jenna and Jessel, actually. They really bring it to center because if you've been watching, even last season, but this season in particular, Bryn took it up 10 notches with twisting the words and stories around and just getting caught in lies. Just getting caught in lies. One after the other, and then pretending like it's no big deal, right? Because in her mind, I think she's trying to create drama, right? Because she understands, they all understand, this is a big thing that they need to make successful. And, there wasn't a lot going on clearly, so she felt the need to have to go around and start fires. Unfortunately, though, she took a lot of things too far. Like we're already discussing what she did to Uba. Okay, but we also find out that the story in which she told when she was gossiping with Sai and Aaron, where she was making it seem like Jessel said that like the love of her life was actually her ex when they were talking about crazy hookups, and that's what she said about her ex. It wasn't that the ex was the love of her life. It was that she had a crazy hookup situation with her ex. But Bryn twisted that. So of course, when Jessel's sitting on her couch at home with her husband and that's playing back, well, you can imagine how would you feel? How would anyone feel sitting across from there and they see someone saying that and that you said that would make anybody be like, "What? Did you say that?" So she had to check Bryn because it was like, "Listen, you demolished that whole situation. He is questioning me. He already feels like crap. He feels stupid. My family has to watch that. My friends have to watch that. His family has to watch that. It's not acceptable. That's not a thing you can turn around and say, oh, I'm sorry. I know I misspoke. No, that's not, you can't do that with that type of information. Because that could quite literally cause a huge rift in Jessel's marriage if it already hadn't. I'm sure they got into an argument about it. And I'm sure he was like, "You're not doing that show anymore." And she's like, "Bitch, I'm doing it." We'll get through this. Okay? No, it sucks. I would be pissed too. Because also, like with Sai, like she tried to do that thing with Sai where she was like, "You told me you love me, you want to do this, that, and the other." And then they showed the text messages and that's not what she said at all. So it's again, Bryn keeps bringing this on to herself, right? But sadly, we did get a little bit more information regarding Bryn's SA. And it's horrific. It's sad. You hear the same thing over and over again. Unfortunately, though, we did find out she did not press charges against this individual, this man. We did find out, though, that this man was someone that was courting her. So clearly, someone that she was going on dates with and was building some sort of rapport with. And unfortunately, more likely than not, it's that type of situation happens with someone who you are either familiar with or it happens way too much. And unfortunately, there's no accountability, right? Because understandably so, the first thing that's on someone's mind when that happens is I want to get home and I want to shower or I want to take a bath and I just want to like get away from this situation. The last thing you want to do is leave said experience and then head to the ER and then ask for a rape kit or do anything that's going to further traumatize you, right? So I get that, and that's sad. And even though Uba is so so disgusted and turned off by Bryn, she's still a human being. And during that moment, you see Uba getting really emotional and whispering over to Bryn that she's so sorry that she went through that. So I love Uba. I think she's got a really great rounded out character. Yes, she gets heated. We all do, but that was warranted. What was going on was she was clearly being egged on behind the camera and in front of the camera by Bryn. And then at the tail end, she really just took it way too far. But the fact that she can still have compassion and empathy for someone that was quite literally trying to make her look like garbage that speaks volumes, right? Because she could have been petty. She could have just sat over there and just been neutral, or she could have just been like, that's terrible. But she really, you could tell that nobody wants to see anyone go through that, obviously. But I think this is probably attributing, a lot to how Bryn is behaving on the show. It's a deflection, or maybe she's using it as a way to escape. Whatever it is, I hope that she continues to get the help, because that takes years to kind of, deal with, because it hits you in so many different areas of your life, unfortunately. So thinking about Bryn, because it's also not easy to share that information on a national television show. And we already know how women get treated when they do come forward. But the one thing that really irks me, I think, is that she says that she sees this man to this day just freely walking around, So it almost just makes your blood boil. Like, how is this anyways. So from there, as Jessel then lays into Bryn about her comments regarding the ex and the hookup and the love of her life of it all, it's clear that Jenna is not okay with this. Like, she's had it now. Like, she's been, she's rode the wave with Bryn. Like, she's been caught in a couple things. But this Jessel moment, I think when she saw Jessel's reaction, when she was explaining to Bryn what it actually did to her and her husband in the moment and after, I think she realized, like, this is not funny and you keep doing this, but this is like enough. Like, this is another thing now where people are coming to you and being like, this is unacceptable, right? So she gets activated, and Bryn, I don't know why she keeps trying to add more to the story. Like, she kept saying, I'm sorry, but like, she says, I'm sorry every time she gets caught up in something. So it's like the women don't even care. But Jenna was basically like, no. You need to stop talking. Like, stop talking. Just own it. Say you're sorry and shut up. Like, don't say anything else, because you keep twisting it and it's getting dark. Because it was. And it was similar to what was kind of happening, it seems, at the finale. Things got dark really fast, and then things got really ugly. And then the next day, it's like as if nothing happened, So I get it. So it seems like, now I'm not sure if this is going to be a 3-part reunion. I hope it's not. 2-parter is probably all it needs, quite honestly. We didn't get Rebecca Minkoff for part 1, so we'll probably get her for part 2, because I clearly think Aaron's, wants to hand her ass to her over comments. But, I think it was a solid reunion. And quite frankly, I think there's a lot of things going on now that I think that these women can take and move forward and hopefully not have to produce themselves. What I'm not sure of is if they're going to bring Brynn back. It could go either way because I could see why a lot of the women wouldn't feel comfortable filming with her if this is what she does. And it could cause problem that people don't want to film with her that isn't going to work out. So unless they can resolve a lot of this in the next part or when this reunion's done, I don't know what her fate will be. And perhaps maybe that's why they are putting out the casting notices. I feel like we need a new production company though. We keep doing the cast. Maybe it's not the cast fully. Maybe it's 1, 2, maybe, but it might be the production. Maybe we need a new production company doing the show. I'm just saying. All right. Now, we got to get into, you know what it is. You know what it is. I even wrote a song for you guys.
Blake and Justin filmed It Ends with us, and now they're feuding and Lyons fuming. I guess that means it ends in court.
So, yes, we need to talk about the updates regarding this Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively situation. Look, I'm not going to rehammer everything. There's so much happening every day. So I'm just going to give you what has happened thus far. Some new developments. And I'm also going to, in the description, I will tag the creators that were digging this up. We're talking about metadata today in regards to all of this. Something interesting has popped up in regards to the New York Times situation, the article that came out initially about the complaints that Blake Lively had. I told you guys, I'm going to make a song for everything that is a moment. This is a huge pop culture moment. It deserves a song. Thank you, Ellis. But yes, so the metadata has entered the chat, which, you know what? I will say if this turns into something where she's going to have to settle, the price tag for the settling is getting higher now because every time a new update comes out or somebody adds more spice into the pot, it's like it's not looking good for her, right? We just had on, I believe it was Monday, where I posted on my Instagram and my TikTok a clipped down version of a 6-minute and 52-second voice note that Justin sent Blake Lively at 2 a.m. And a lot of people, I will say this, a lot of people thought he was weird for sending that or talking the way he was. But a lot of you don't realize that he was responding to a text message from her that was sent at, I believe, at like 1:50 a.m. So it wasn't like he was just sitting in bed at 2 a.m. and just decided, oh, hey, Blake. And also, if you read the text message, he was responding to her messages, which I thought was very mature of him. And it continues to speak to what his brand is, right? Because before all of this, no one really knew who Justin was. So we're all finding out. But it seems like, and I've said this multiple times, I can't find anything bad about the guy. Sorry. This voicemail sounds like voice note rather, sounds like a healed man who's mature. He is able to take accountability if he made someone feel a type of way, which he clearly did. Because when you read the message, he's like, because I think he said something like, I love your passion around writing out the rooftop scene. And she was like, well, that's basically not good enough. I want you to say that the scene was written really well. And so he kind of was put in a situation, in my opinion, where he had to appease her. But he did so in what seemed to be a very authentic way. It wasn't like he was just trying to blow smoke up her butt. But he interestingly made a point in there to say that she didn't need to bring Ryan and Taylor into it. She didn't need to bring them as backup. Which, by the way, what's going on with Taylor? She's very quiet. I thought she was one of Blake's dragons. I think Taylor's still scratching her head, wondering why she's involved in any of this publicly. But anyways, back to the metadata. So apparently, so we know that the New York Times article came out on December 21st. We also know that New York Times says that they reached out to Justin Baldoni and his team on December 20th to give him time to respond. That obviously was not set up for him to be able to respond in a timely manner. Plus, it said that they actually on the 21st was originally supposed to put the article up at noon, and they ended up putting it out like a couple hours earlier. So again, not leaving much for him to do in that situation. But what's interesting is a lot of people were speculating, like, well, who leaked things to the press first? Because we keep seeing that Blake Lively's side is saying that Justin is responsible for starting the smear campaign, and this is, kind of pointing fingers like he's really the one that's behind this, flushing this out to the tabloids, which is interesting to say tabloids because New York Times is not a publication that anyone really considers a tabloid. Probably will after this because they don't look so hot right now as a publication. But at any rate, there was a couple of creators that were doing the Lord's work. And I want to make sure I get this user's name right because I don't want to butcher it. But okay, so it's at Gooj. It's Gooj, Gooj on TikTok. She went in and looked at the lawsuit or the complaint rather, that came up with the New York Times article. And she was able to look at the metadata. And it looked like, from what she was finding there, and she has receipts, and you should go check out the video. I'll link it in the description. She was able to find that there was things that were uploaded, I guess, onto like the New York Times, or at least based on the image data, that I think it was as early as the 16th. But then another user also showed that the video that went along with the New York Times article. So shout out to Melanie King. She says the New York Times uploaded the final draft of this smear campaign video on 12/12/2024. It is scripted, highly edited, and produced. Blake Lively didn't file her allegedly false civil rights complaint until 12/20/2024. How long were they working on this hit piece? Let's get this to Justin Baldoni ASAP. Okay. So that's interesting, right? Because it would take some time. And if you saw the video, I don't have it, but I believe if you guys head over to Popcorn Planet, he has a video where he shows you the clip of the video. But it is highly edited. It isn't something that they were just throwing together just a day before, the article came out. And obviously they jumped on it for obvious reasons because, they're a publication. And so it's not fair for them to not share what they're being given, but to lie and say that you didn't have anything to do with it. How would they have gotten all this information? Well, then it gets even a little more crazy because we have another user. I will link this user as well. They went in and looked at the lawsuit and did this whole metadata thing with the images that were inside this civil complaint, rather, that Blake put forward. And it's showing that the images were, I guess, embedded on October 31st of 2024. Now, what I'm not clear is that date maybe the date that the messages were screenshotted, or is that actually when they put it up? If that is in fact true and they had these images October 31st, Halloween, that's a couple months before the article came out. So either way, I don't believe that they just pulled this whole story together so quickly. I think there was somebody was leaking it, and it smells like it's coming from Blake's side, honestly. But Blake's not the only person, right? We've been talking about Ryan. There's a lot of, people talking about Ryan's behind all of this. And listen, I did share some updates that Candace Owens shared about her anonymous tip, and she's been pulling things together, and whoever she's talking to is telling her she's 95% there. She's just missing the 5%. I shared updates with you from there, but she then also discussed that there was a scene in the Deadpool movie where in the end, I guess, they Lady Pool, who is voiced by Blake Lively, although she's not, I don't believe she actually filmed. So this is the screen grab, but you'll see here on the right that this is Lady Pool, and I guess it's supposed to mimic like that's Blake Lively, but it's not. I think it's just obviously it's Blake's voice, but in this scene, Nice Pool is getting shot by Lady Pool like over and over again. But if you notice, and Candace Owens, shout out, she pointed this out. If you notice behind Deadpool, they're standing in front of a what? Flower shop. So that's interesting. I thought that was interesting that could they have pieced that together? Because we're finding out that Ryan likes to take out his aggression through his acting. He like adds scenes in to like, you know, crap all over people he doesn't like. Also thought this was interesting when we talk about everything. This was a post that Ryan Reynolds made on, I believe it was July 26, 2023. It was a birthday shout out to Sandra Bullock. But his caption was like weird, right? But it's even more weird now when you consider everything that's been going on and what was going on during that time. So he says, happy birthday to the inimitable and stunning Sandra Bullock. For your birthday this year, I got us both intimacy coordinators in an HR department and clothing. Now, I don't know what his thing is. Maybe he has a thing with like intimacy coordinators or HR departments or whatnot. But it feels like he was, again, making a little dig at the situation. We also know the whole intimacy coordinator thing seems to have been squashed in Justin's lawsuit because he shows that there's messages where he said he had a intimacy coordinator, and it also shows that Blake said, no, I'm good. But then you watch the takes and then you hear the voice note and then you're wondering, I don't think my man would be okay with those voice notes coming into my phone at 2 a.m. So maybe, just maybe, he got a wind of it and was like, what the hell's going on here? Sounds like I need to get on the set and look at all the dailies, because that's exactly what's been said to have happened. He, all of a sudden, when the strike happened, he came home, and then now we're asking for the dailies, and now things are starting to erupt. So perhaps things were fine, and maybe Justin and Blake were having a great relationship professionally and building up their chemistry for this movie, even though she was slowly doing her own thing. Let's be clear, we can't blame all of this on Ryan, because Bohemian Diva on TikTok, shout out to her, she's been covering this like way before a lot of people were really diving into it. And she said this all along, that this is Blake. Because when Ryan was filming Deadpool, she was here, or not here, she was in New York, filming in New Jersey, and doing all the stuff with the wardrobe on her own. So it wasn't like Ryan was in charge from the beginning. I think Ryan stepped in when he probably realized, I might lose my wife to this guy, or they're getting a little too handsy-pansy, you know? So, you know, it's very interesting stuff. I also found a old interview from 2008 where Alanis Morissette is talking to Howard Stern, and Howard Stern's talking to her about her album, because she released an album after her and Ryan Reynolds broke up. This is when he went to go date Scarlett Johansson. So it was really interesting because, you know, Howard Stern was being Howard Stern, but he was trying to get the dirt out of her. So let's take a listen to some of this clip so we can get your thoughts.
I never heard of this guy, Ryan Reynolds. Mm-hmm. I don't know who he is. Mm-hmm. He's a nobody.
It's probably better because then there's no comments.
No, really. I mean, who is he? I didn't know anything about it. When you were in love with him, I didn't like it. I sees it as though, oh,
they can
look
see it however they want to see it.
He's Ryan Reynolds running around. Boy, I gave it to her so good. She wrote a whole album, and she can't get over it.
He and Scarlett sit and listen to it.
Yeah. By the way, he hooked up with this Scarlett Johansson. Mm-hmm. You know, right away she had to come out with a music album. Do you know this?
I heard.
You heard? Did you hear the music?
No.
It's awful.
Oh.
I'm going to play a little for you, and you tell me, and I want your honest opinion.
Engaged? You were engaged.
You were engaged.
I was.
So what? He comes home and announces he's with another broad?
No.
How does that all work?
Pregnant pause.
Tell me, Alanis, what's going on? So you're telling me right away you were fine with this?
No,
No.
No.
You were not fine.
You
were
heard the
hurting.
record.
Did it blindside you, or did you kind of see this coming? You saw it coming. Does a movie right away he falls in love with the next person he's with? Is that the kind of thing?
I can't speak for him. I have no idea.
I don't think he and Scarlett Johansson have done a movie together, have they?
I don't know.
No, she's in good movies.
So it doesn't seem that he was a great guy to Alanis, because that album, I think about 50% of the songs on there were about Ryan. And if you look at some of the lyrics, it's giving Ryan was controlling, and she had to go to therapy 5 days a week after that to deal with whatever that was. So shout out to Alanis Morissette. Listen, I think we all are starting to see this for what it is, but obviously we don't know, right? We haven't gotten to the actual court date, which is scheduled for March of 2026. So we have a whole year of this, but I honestly, at this point, the way things are going, I don't think this is going to make it to court, which sucks, because I just wrote a whole song called It Ends in Court, and I made a movie poster. So I do hope it does get one day of trial so we can get a Lifetime movie, and then perhaps Lifetime will buy the rights to my movie poster and song. Whatever. I'm fine with either one. I'm just saying. But let me know what you guys think about these tidbits. Is this metadata thing stacking the cards against Blake and her team? Because I don't know. The date, 12/12 is almost 10 days before she actually filed it. So how would they have gotten this? And how would Justin's team had all this ready to go when it seemed like they were scrambling to respond? And when they did, their stuff looked completely different because he actually showed all the screenshots. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that one. Also, let me know what you thought of last night's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. What do you think of the season so far? Also, let me know what you think about RHONY. Did you watch the reunion? Are you feeling bad for Brynn? Do you think there's a way forward for Brynn and Uba? Let me know your thoughts down below. And let's see. Thank you to everyone who was in the chat today. Like I said, I know there's a lot going on outside of this sphere. And so I am thinking of all of you. You guys are all sending me messages. I get it. We're going to move through this as best as we can. I'm here to kind of take your mind off of stuff, at least for an hour a day. So let's stay strong, and hopefully you guys have a good rest of the week. I will be back tomorrow to talk about the Salt Lake City Part 2 reunion. That airs tonight. Things are great. Also, for everyone who was on my jock when I called out Bronwyn last week for being a liar, okay? I think we've pieced together now that she is, in fact, a liar. Because on Watch What Happens Live, she came out and said that they never even bought those earrings and necklace. So why didn't she say that? She made it seem like she got some new pieces redesigned and just had the necklace smaller, and the wire was already sent because she was confused why Emma, the jeweler, was saying these things. Anyways, we're also supposed to find out whether or not Todd had this affair, whether it was emotional or not. Did she just throw that in there because she wanted to, add some more Georgio? Add some more Georgio. I was looking at Ellis's comments saying, thank you, Georgio, for the live. Have a great day. Thank you for joining, Ellis. And thank you guys for joining. If you were joining me live today, please hit the like button. I can't talk. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. I probably going to update a folder, or not a folder. I'm going to create a playlist on TikTok and separate all the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively content separately, so it's easier because it is majority Bravo stuff, and I sprinkle in some other stuff like the Justin and Blake of it all. So hopefully that makes it easier for you guys, so you don't have to keep scrolling and looking for stuff if you are looking to have a bit of a catch up. Also, check out Dave Neal here on YouTube and Popcorn Planet. They are great guys. They are recapping this whole lawsuit, everything that comes out there on it. So Shout out to them. And also shout out to you guys. And if you guys feel obliged, you can leave me a 5-star review on my Georgio Says podcast. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that, I think I will leave it there for today. Until the next episode, guys, I will talk to you on the next one. Bye.
We need to talk about this. Every rumor, every twist on the Georgio Says podcast. We need to talk about. So hit that play, stay in the know. Georgio's here to steal the show. On the Georgio Says podcast, we need to talk about this.